Just did a sprint on my warm-up, as part of my warm-up in the UK, and so it was rather fun. Got my second highest speed while not actually putting out 100% power, and that's partly because of my bike has been upgraded. I'm now on level 4, which has aero boost, a second aero boost, which, man, oh man, that second aero boost is legit. So I'm gonna do my best not to check up my lunch because I just ate a couple hours ago, which might have been a mistake. So we'll see what happens. We are in Makuri, May on the Bridges and Boardwalk route. And unfortunately, this time around, I don't have JD in here to push me or make me work harder. Because the plan is for May to help him podium, but right now, Zwift has us in different categories. And rather than him race a category up with me, in order to podium, he's gonna race in his category and give it his best. Oh, I got LeDuc in this race. So, good. I got some usual suspects, competitors, some familiars, but we are gonna push hard. Also, Mike Bell, I believe, is in this category, or in this pen. And so just double checking the Zwifters nearby. And so it might not be in the pen just yet. Yeah, Mike Bell's in here. And so strong rider, definitely someone to watch out for. If I'll do my best to kind of highlight him. Actually, let me do this. Do I have him as a favorite? Yeah, I have him as a favorite. So he should be highlighted in the race. You'll see kind of a halo around him. Waan, W-A-A-N, is in this pen, who is there he goes, highlighted, who is an absolutely strong racer. So excuse me, I am going to do my best to podium, but there are some seriously strong characters in this race. So my main priority is hold on to the front group as best I can. I feel like the climbs are going to be, the first climb might be easygoing, but climb number 2 and 3 are definitely going to be tougher. And so I fully expect this group to push a lot harder than in previous races. Brian's in here. Oh. Brian is a kick butt rider. So I'm gonna say what's up to him because he's a good racer. And so he's a good climber. And so he's going to be one of those people that are going to keep me on my toes when it comes to the climb. And that's kind of how it's going to be. So these climbs are going to make it or break it for me. There is enough climbing, even though it's only like, I think, less than 200 meters of elevation gain. The climb itself is just draggy enough to make a difference. And so with 41 seconds to go, I am going to put on some music. And while I don't have the physical capacity to pay attention to JD's race, I'm going to check in on him. All right. What did he say? Oh, he did Vaughn too. Oh my God. Bro, that's crazy. What Brian did Mont Ventoux. I want to do it again eventually. I feel like that's a climb that if you can master it, it'll help make you competitive. All right.
All right, so I'm going to speed up this race here because for the first lap or so, it is pretty on brand with how Zwift racing goes. Now, I will admit, this category has a tendency to push off harder earlier on than I'm used to. So right now we're kind of bouncing between the low 200s to mid 200s. But as it is on the Bridges and Boardwalks route, it is, reasonably placed and paced until we start hitting that climb. And so that's kind of what everyone's anticipating. Now, I watched Tactical Watts race earlier, so I will link to his video if you want to check out his action. And so that gave me a good opportunity to kind of recon this race and see how his race went. And it basically went the same with mine. Everybody went a lot harder than I expected on this first lap up the climb. And, I kind of looked at it as like, all right, people want to, they want to push. You see, I'm kind of hitting the, upper threes, low 400s just to kind of stay in the pack, which is a lot harder than, I wanted to push at this point, but it is what it is. Now, one thing you won't hear on the audio, because I'm doing the voiceover, but I will play a portion of it later, is my chain keeps bouncing from gear to gear. Now, I went out and rode this weekend. I ended up doing about 55 miles along the coast of Florida. Had a great time, good ride. Felt better than I felt in a long time when it comes to an outdoor ride. Almost got hit by a Jaguar, but at the end of the day, it was a good ride. It was fun. Made it home, and that's what counts. So, what I didn't realize at the time is that, you know, when I was riding outdoors, my chain was okay. No big issues, no jumping, nothing to worry about. When I put my bike back on the trainer, um, I started riding, felt good, didn't think that I was going to have any issues. But then when I started this race, I started having issues and I did not know what was going on. And obviously, I'm in the middle of a race, so I can't just stop and troubleshoot. And so, as we're going through, coming to, completing the first lap and getting ready to, you know, get going again on this second lap, obviously, we have enough flat terrain to kind of negotiate, I can negotiate through my gears and kind of figure out what's going on. When I'm sitting down on the bike, I'm not having issues. But as I start to climb again, and you'll see, just a little bit, as I start to climb, my chain keeps jumping from gear to gear, and I'm, kind of, I kept looking down and kind of thinking through like what's going on, what's happening. Is my cassette out of alignment? And so as we hit the second part of this climb here, you see right now the group is pretty well together. It says we got 22 people in the pen, but it doesn't really feel like it. It feels like this group of 12 or so is basically the main group, and anyone that all the main racers are here. Some others are kind of fell behind, and come to find out that Mike ended up falling behind and having his own issues. And so you see me get off the bike there, and it's because my chain dropped. I switched into the my 40 tooth front chain ring, thinking that that was going to help me with the climb. And, it was going great, but I was trying to shift gears because I couldn't find the right gear to keep the cassette happy, and kept bouncing around, kept cracking, kept having all sorts of issues. And so I ended up trying to shift back into my 55 tooth chain ring. And in that process, the chain came off. It came off the 40 tooth, and didn't actually line up with the 50 tooth. I was trying to push. I was trying to, keep my legs spinning a little bit to try and see if the tooth would catch the chain and bring the chain back on, as that can happen. But ultimately ended up didn't. It didn't catch, so I, you know, took my foot off the pedal and it ended up spinning backwards, dropping the chain. So I had to get off and put it back on. And so as you can see here, I already passed one person, but at this point, my mission was to get to the front of the race. Now, I didn't realize this at the time. Looking at the bubbles now, you see RC is off the front about almost a minute ahead of the group of 6 behind him. And so I was just looking at the chart on the right hand side, and I see everybody's at 30 seconds. So my focus is I'm going to time trial it as best as I can to try and catch the riders in front of me. They're only about 30 seconds ahead, so I know that if I can just keep my momentum, stay in the mid threes, that I can, eventually catch them. Again, I'm on the SL8 with the level 4 upgrade. I've got 2 aero, um, aero boost upgrades, lightweight, kind of all the things. Like it's the bike is awesome. And so as I hit this second part of the climb, I'm still having issues with the cassette, but this time I'm just kind of fumbling through it and staying on the 55 tooth chainring, sometimes spinning a lot harder than I want to up this climb, because as I start to climb, my gear, you know, the gear that I'm in is not the right gear to be climbing in, and so I um, end up in a scenario where I have to sometimes drop into a lower cadence. But you see, I'm trying to maintain, 3-ish, almost 400 watts on the harder parts of the climb, and then on the easier parts, just kind of staying in the same gear but spinning a little faster, just to keep my momentum going. And then once I hit the tabletop here, the false flat up the Shisha climb, then just trying to again stay in my time trial mode. Sometimes getting into the drops, sometimes not. Just trying to feel it out. I'm sitting a little bit forward on my seat so that way I can get as much, um, much leg activation as possible using all the muscles I can. Because at this point, the goal is to get to the end. I see that Morris is in front of me about 16 seconds ahead, and I keep kind of, I started reeling them in, and I felt good and looking at reeling them in, but at this point, I'm just kind of running out of steam. And, the frustration of not making it with this front group really started getting to me at this point because, again, being on my own, in no man's land and trying to catch up, I thought I could catch Morris, but ultimately, it didn't happen. And so as I get to the sprint, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for a PR on this sprint, see what kind of wattage I can hit, and I'm just going as hard as I can to kind of finish this off. I ended up stopping because I was like, you know what, I'm done. Like my legs are cooked. I put a lot of stress on myself just to try and get to the finish line after the chain dropping, and so I was just like, all right, I'll just get to the end. Ultimately, still ended up crossing the line in ninth place, which I was okay-ish about. Like I wasn't happy, but I wasn't frustrated. Um, Now, I did want to mention that I am wearing my U.S. Military Endurance Sports hat that just came in. I was very excited to finally receive it. I also got the jersey, but I didn't. I decided not to wear the jersey today. I'll wear it another day. But I do have. I wore my dirt jersey because if you saw or if you noticed in game, I was wearing my ZRL championship jersey. So the team that we were on, the Dirty Dogs, right? No, yeah, yeah, Dirty Dogs. So many different teams that I ride for within the same like main Dirty Watts team, and so the Dirty Dogs we ended up finishing first in our division. So we got the in game jersey for ZRL. So I was wearing that today and wanted to wear my dirt jersey to kind of match, and so I'm wearing the hat just to test it out. So I gotta say, these cycling hats, I kind of like them. I kind of like them. I do. They function very well, and so again, cross the line in ninth place. Not not what I wanted for today, but it is what it is. Tomorrow's a new day, which is going to bring us another exciting race. We're doing a dirt wide ladder race again, and so it's gonna be a match. I don't know how things are gonna go. I did end up figuring out what was going on with my chain. It ended up being when I put my bike back on the trainer, I didn't tighten the quick release as well as I should have. So when I did the first sprint in the London Flats route, I guess my frame came loose off the trainer, or loosened up the quick release. And so I was actually kind of free floating. And so the reason why my chain kept on bouncing back and forth, and it was really only happening when I was out the saddle, is because out the saddle I'm rocking my bike left and right, and what ultimately is happening, it's actually shifting the chain a few millimeters left and right, and so that caused the chain to bounce and drop the way it did. So that was not fun, and I definitely tightened it down after after the race was finished, so that way tomorrow I don't have to worry about that, and I'm gonna again go through it tomorrow, probably during my lunchtime, just to make sure it is at 100%. Make sure the indexing is good, because mechanical issues like that are only, I came in ninth place because of my own fault. It truly is my own fault, you know. And I know that I could have done better. I know that I could have stayed competitive. Maybe not with like the number one position guy, but two, three, four, I could have given them a run for their money. Two, three, four, five, I could have given them a run for their money. So it is what it is. I will take the L for tonight and do better tomorrow. I will catch you guys on the next race.
Hey guys, it's Miguel from That Thing You Just Watched. Hope you enjoyed that video, whether it was topic on nutrition or racing or a combination of both. Feel free to come back. I will continue to put out videos like this and continue to showcase what you can do with smart nutritional strategies, combining that with racing, because that is what this channel is all about. And feel free to check in if you want to see more racing. Click on wherever the link's at, subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next race.